And we are back at the XL Energy Center as our second period intermission rolls along. The Ducks with a 1-goal lead over the Minnesota Wild. And I'm joined in the booth now by Jim and George Parros. And Jim, I want to talk to you a little bit about the dad's trip. I know you guys are having a great time, but describe what it means to be able to be a part of this.
Well, it's wonderful finally to get a chance to get away with George and realize a dream on my part, not George anymore, but more us, to meet with the other dads and share experiences that they've had. Has just been a lot of fun.
Well, I know you guys have been having a great time. I know you've been able to get out and have dinner with the guys, but we have some footage here of the whole experience. First of all, the charter flights. Did they surprise you at all how well these guys are looked after?
Yeah, isn't that something? I wish I could get through LAX like this, but no, it's first class all the way. The organization has really done a great job for us, and it's been a lot of fun to see them, how the boys handle it and go first class every time.
And George, I know you're not in the lineup right now, so has that afforded you a little bit of extra time to spend with your dad?
Yeah, definitely. We've spent some minutes playing cards on the bus and on the plane like we usually do. We get the locker room shots here. It's cool to get to bring them to the locker room, see where we all dress, and Jiggy and his pop there having a good time, and they get to see all the minutia that goes through a day at the rink.
Later on, actually, George, we're going to ask you to stick around a little while because I know you had a little camera with you, and you took a number of candid shots. And in our next segment during our intermission break here, we're going to see some of those candid shots. But Jim, your favorite part of this has to be what?
Well, just watching the game and being with George is the big thing, just experiencing it.
Now, were you able to, did you ever coach George when he was a kid playing, or did you go to a lot of his games?
I went to all his games, never coached Coffey.
I got my coaching on the way home from the rink.
I think most young hockey players would say the same thing. We want to thank you very much for joining us. Thanking you very much for being such a big part of this. I know the dad's trip is something that we all look forward to every year, and George, we're going to ask you to stick around in the booth.
Sure.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more after this. The Ducks with a 1-goal lead over the Minnesota Wild. We'll be back with George in a minute. Our second period intermission continues here. Ducks 3 and the Minnesota Wild 2. We're back in the booth, and we're joined again by George Parros. And I mentioned before, George, you had a kind of a unique opportunity here. We gave you a little mini camera, and you walked around, and you got some, I think, some pretty good footage.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I have a little extra time in my hand these days, so I took the mini cam out and started interviewing some dads and kind of having some fun behind the scenes here.
Well, we're going to call this the Georgie cam, and there's JS's dad, of course. The thing that strikes me when I look at this footage is everyone's having a good time. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this dinner.
So here we had a dinner at Roost Chris Steakhouse in Nashville. We all got together for the first time, and I was sitting with some of the parents and players here as my dad and Pete Marchant there. Here's Birdie in the locker room flexing for the camera. We were talking about American Gladiators, I think, at that point. Here's Pistol Pete Marchant again, first dad in the rink that morning. Right here we've got a stretch when we pulled into Nashville because we had a long flight and had to get some of the bugs out from the plane.
And there, of course, is the biggest ham on the team.
Oh, yeah.
Todd Marchant.
T-bone.
Now, you were mentioning to me off camera that you could have played in tonight's game if asked.
Yeah, I'm getting real close, and I felt that if I was needed, then I would put myself out there. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm getting real close, and I'm feeling better with every time I get on the ice. So.
Well, you know what? We'll keep our fingers crossed. We got Dallas in a couple of days, so it'll be great to see you back on the ice.
That'd be nice, yeah.
All right, George, we want to thank you for joining us in the booth tonight, for bringing us the Georgie cam. I hope the fans at home enjoyed it as much as we did. John Allers and I will be back with more after this.